Rachael Cummins is a rising star in the sport of MMA. A multi-talented athlete in high school, she fell in love with the competitive and contact aspects of MMA. Today on Coach's Corner, we sit down with Rachael as she discusses her career, goals, and a great deal more. I'm Paul Higgins, this is Coach's Corner, and all the action starts right now. Hello everybody, I'm Paul Higgins and welcome to this edition of Coach's Corner. As you can tell, we do have a fantastic show, and I say I'm vicariously getting in shape through all the people behind me. So I'm going to come back here each and every week and welcome to Coach's Corner here at the Rain Training Center. And what a fantastic show we have, because we have some excellent guests and they're in your own backyard. So you'll be even more excited to meet these people. And of course, first of all, as you've seen on the beginning of this show, we have none other than Rachael Cummins, a professional MMA fighter specializing in jiu-jitsu, and also her coach in the first professional year of her coaching her in her first professional year. Of course, we have Jason Manley. We welcome you both to Coach's Corner, and thank you so much. And you reminded me earlier that I had your brother on Coach's Corner some years ago.
Yes, when I was a little girl, I used to watch you all the time.
And look what happened. You've grown up, and here you are, a fighter. I welcome you, and Jason, I welcome you. And I know pretty soon you're going to take off that good-looking suit of yours, and you're going to go train. So we're going to sit down with you for a few minutes. But first of all, as everyone asks, and Eric Winter, our audio specialist on the show, said, you have such a pretty face. Why do you want to go out and fight? Now, why is it that you want to go out and do this sport? Because it is a fantastic sport, but obviously you have a passion for it.
Well, I've always been really competitive my entire life. I played basketball and volleyball my whole life. And I've played every single sport. I played soccer, softball, everything, ever since I was a little girl. And so my life is sports. Like without sports, I'll get in trouble, I think. Like I'll get into a lot of mischief or, right. I don't know, I think it saves a lot of kids from getting in trouble.
Right. And Rachael, you told me you never stop moving, and that's one of the things. And Jason, I know that you being a fighter yourself and being in this sport for some time, can you give us a little background on yourself and how you got to know Rachael?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I started martial arts when I was a little kid. Started doing jiu-jitsu exclusively in the mid to late 90s. Started with Royce Gracie, got my blue belt from him. Then moved up to Berkeley for school. And when I was in Berkeley, I started training with Cesar Gracie. Trained with him for about the last 15 years with some really great teammates up there. And and eventually moved back down here to Southern California, where all my family is at, and started coaching at Rain, and met Rachael here. And the rest is history. So,
what do you like about her, and why did you decide to join forces with her? She's currently, as we mentioned in the opening of the show, 2-1 in her early professional career, 3 fights last year. And I know you got fights coming up that we want to talk about, but why the association here?
Well, for a couple of reasons. One, she really desires it. She really wants to be the best, and she's really passionate about jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts. But the other thing is just her heart. She's just a really kind-hearted, sweet person. And so personally, aside from training, she's just a good person to be around. Yeah. And that always makes it so much easier to train someone when you enjoy their company, aside from the fact that they have great potential and they're a really good fighter. So the combination of being a really good fighter and just having a great heart and a great spirit, just it makes it fun. It's not work for me.
You know what's interesting is when I met Rachael for the first time, I just met you just a little while ago, the first thing I thought is how sweet this girl is. And you have that sweet demeanor. Where do you pull that switch and say, all right?
Well, I always say my sign, I'm a Gemini, which is a split personality. But, I'm always really happy. This is really me, and I'm always like this. But I have that, once the cage closes, I just become this vicious animal. Like, I literally, my mind goes crazy. But I love it, and I think it's perfect, because I could control all my feelings, all my emotions always in there, but when I'm out there, it's just like a little cat, or like a panther. That's my name.
Panther, that's your nickname.
Yeah.
Now, I was surprised. I thought looking at you, you look like you're 22 years old. How old are you? 28 years old. That's amazing. You look fantastic.
Thank you.
So can I ask you, what's the longevity in this sport? If you're 28, what's the window of opportunity, do you think, for you in such an early professional career at 2-1 right now? Meaning, how long can you do this?
Well, honestly, like for me, I feel like my body, I've always, I mean, I've played injured. I've taken a lot of, you know, pain, you know, growing up in sports, and I've always played injured, and I feel like my body's always handled it fine. And I feel like girls could actually maybe fight a little bit longer because we don't hit as hard, and then there's not as much damage. You don't see the girls' faces coming out like the guys at all. I think guys have a way more damage than the women. So I feel like I could at least have 10 years in me.
Well, this guy next to you is a pretty good looking guy. You know, he's got it.
2-0. Her one loss is amateur, so she's
amateur.
Undefeated pro.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
I appreciate you correcting me on that.
Absolutely.
Well, in that last fight, it was 32 seconds.
Absolutely.
And now, what is her best asset inside the cage?
I think it's focus. You know, we know exactly what we're going to do. She knows what she's going to do, and she doesn't waste any time doing it. She's not timid. She's aggressive, and she goes after and goes out to finish. So I think that's probably her best quality. So just aggression.
And your advice, I'm going to ask Rachel a little bit later on, but your advice for other young women, young girls to go down this road. I know some parents are like, whoa, you know, let's step back from that. But your thoughts, I mean, there's a lot of push and pull.
I would say do jiu-jitsu. Start with jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is even if you're not going to get into mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu is a great art that I think everyone should know, especially women. For self-defense purposes. And aside from the self-defense, just the confidence it gives you, knowing that you can defend yourself, you can use it in every aspect of life. So I would say people that want to get into mixed martial arts at some point, particularly women, start with jiu-jitsu, and then once the parents start to see this isn't so bad, it's actually really nice, it's helping my kid in all aspects of life, then they can start to open their eyes up to MMA and stuff like that.
Sure, and
so,
they don't have to go that route if they don't want to, but yeah.
They don't, absolutely.
Yeah, and your thoughts, I know that you probably have a lot of people approach you, hey, Rachel, let me coach you, let me train you, and I'm sure it's just beginning. Why Jason? Why do you enjoy him as a coach?
Well, I mean, he's like one of my best friends too, and I mean, jiu-jitsu, we have that connection. We have like a very similar body structure in a very girly guy way, but we're both really athletic, and I think that like a lot of his jiu-jitsu is a lot of the game that I would want to play. So it's actually not only as a friendship, but also that we have a lot of things in common.
Absolutely. It looks like you guys both enjoy each other a lot, and I know that you're getting it done in the cage. And again, 2-0 right now. And Jason, thank you so much for stopping by, spending time with us before your workout tonight. And obviously, Rachel is very blessed to have Jason on her team. And we will have much more of Coach's Corner from the Rain Training Center here in Lake Forest. Much more right after this. Centrally located in San Juan Capistrano, Olson Orthodontics' top priority is to provide you with the highest quality orthodontic care. Led by Dr. Taylor Olson, there is simply just one choice to make for quality braces and treatment in Orange County.
At Olson Orthodontics, we love to have fun. We love to know our patients. We love getting to know them. We also do our best to be an advocate for you with your dentist, with your insurance company, to make sure that we give you and help you maximize and enjoy your experience here at Olson Orthodontics.
Mission Basilica School, located in historic San Juan Capistrano, is a blue ribbon school focused not only on quality education but spiritual enlightenment, creating a learning environment that's second to none.
I love the feel of the school and what it brings.
They're wonderful kids, have great family lives. They are brothers and sisters once they reach the campus.
A blue ribbon school for academic excellence, located on the beautiful grounds of Mission San Juan Capistrano. Hello everybody, I'm Paul Higgins and welcome back to this edition of Coach's Corner, talking MMA, the female style. Of course, right here at the Rain Training Center. Rachel Cummins, 2-1, and Rachel, I have to ask you, what is your next fight? When and where, and tell me about that. Do you have it scheduled yet?
It's gonna be most likely in March. It's not for sure yet, so I can't really say exactly because we don't have the opponent and everything yet, but it's looking like the end of March. And so I'm really looking forward to that.
So that's a couple months away, and knowing that if you do have a fight, how hard is it to train right now not knowing who your opponent is?
Well, I always think that no matter what, you should always be training no matter you know, if you don't know the opponent or you don't even know if you have a fight coming up soon, I really like to know in advance. You know, 2 months is perfect. You really want to focus and get your training schedule right for that certain opponent. But I mean, I train every day, you know, as long as I don't hurt my neck or my back or anything like that, then I'm always in there. And I'm even if I'm injured, I still train and I work around it. And, you know, I've been an athlete my whole life, and, you know, volleyball, basketball, they didn't let us sit. You had to still show up and watch, you know, and it's a team, and a lot of fighters, I think they'll just go to pro practice and they don't actually go over the technique, and they don't actually treat it like it's a team. They just go in like just themselves, and they don't actually, I think that everyone should really focus like a team, you know, like a team sport, and you should go there no matter what.
Do you feel as though this sport that you're doing now is going to benefit you in other areas of your life? I mean, do you see maybe you commentating on the sport or coaching or being involved in apparel or something like that? What is the backup plan and the progression of what you want to do in the future when fighting does come to a conclusion?
Oh man, I have a lot of things. I mean, I have so many ideas. I would love to have my own clothing company for women, specializing in, you know, like cuter, you know, girly little outfits for MMA girls. And I like, you know, I like the whole fitness type. I would love to do fitness stuff. And, you know, I would love to coach also. I mean, there's so many things that it could open doors for me. Sure. So I'm looking forward to the future no matter what.
Now, you mentioned that you had a neck injury. Tell me about that and how that happened, and what has happened since you had the injury.
Well, it was like a couple weeks ago, and I heard it, you know, I heard it one of the days, and it had been bothering me, but I still continued to train, and of course I didn't stretch well enough, and when your body is dehydrated, you have to be careful. A lot of people don't realize that when you're not drinking a lot of water, you're more prone to injuries. Right. And so I think that was the main issue, and so I heard it in wrestling. I just heard it crack, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I can't move. I had to like lift my head just to get out of bed. I like couldn't sleep for a couple days. But I started going to Fight Doc OC, which is actually one of my sponsors. Okay. They're absolutely amazing. They're actually in Tustin over here, so I just go there. You know, I went there every day during the week, and all of a sudden I could turn, and I was back to training. So
it's amazing, this sport, and you know, I wrestled in high school, and I don't think people realize when you see two people out there grappling with each other, how exhausting that is. And it is an exhausting sport, two forces coming together and pushing and pulling and now hitting in MMA. How exhausted are you? There's 3 5-minute rounds. If you last 3 5-minute rounds, that's insane. I mean, how exhausted are you, or are you exhausted?
Oh, well, I don't think people realize like how hard the cardio you have to do in order to last all those rounds, and especially if you ever have to do 5 5-minute rounds. I mean,
5-minute rounds.
Yeah, there's people that, you know, they fight for the championship or the title fights. They have to do 5 5-minute rounds. So you have to think like you have to have cardio for standing up, and you have to have cardio for wrestling. So you have to have muscle cardio in order to hold people and to push people off you, and you have to have cardio like to jump and run and get back up and down, and like it's insane, but people don't realize how crazy it is.
It definitely is. If you were to tell me your strengths inside the cage, when you walk in, do you want to be on your feet the whole fight, or as much as you can, or do you want to get down to the mat? Tell me about that.
Well, my strength is jiu-jitsu, and I'm known to taking my opponents down one way or another. I'm very unorthodox when it comes to my jiu-jitsu, so a lot of it, I like to say a lot of it is pretty creative, and I like to learn a lot of new things, and I like to be unorthodox, so I don't like people to ever know what's coming. Yeah. And
well, we won't tell them.
But I'm working really hard on my striking, and it's coming along great. And you know, I want to be overall the best fighter I could possibly be, and I really picture that belt, a UFC belt on me one day.
Oh, I can imagine.
And that's what I'm focused on.
Are you left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed, but in volleyball I was a switch hitter, and so I mean I hit pretty hard with my left too.
Yeah. Is there an advantage to being right-handed or left-handed inside the cage in your division at all, or does it all balance out?
Well, I mean, there's advantages of lefties because most people that you practice with are right-handers. So when you go against a lefty, which was my pro debut, that is just, it's harder because the whole angle is different.
Yeah.
When you're used to something else, then sometimes you'll go that way because you're used to it. So.
Absolutely. You say you train religiously every single day, and I know that nutrition is a big thing. When you eat, what do you eat? What do you not eat? Is there, I mean, can you eat anything because you burn it off so fast? Tell us about that.
Well, usually I eat like anything I want, but I work out so much, and I get up there sometimes, but it goes away really fast, and I'm very focused on my diet when I have to.
Okay.
And there's this amazing vegan protein powder that I actually use called Garden of Life.
Okay.
And so that actually really leaned me out.
How often do you take that? Once a day, or whenever you?
I'll take it as much as I want, but when I have a fight coming up, I'll take it every day,
Okay.
and then I'll do my meal replacements right after I train. So I feel like that's the best protein that anyone can take.
It's amazing. We talked about your fighting career inside the cage, talked about it, outside and what you plan to do. And when we come back, we're going to be joined by Rachael's manager, Brianna Armstrong, who watches what she does and kind of controls her career right now and giving this young lady an opportunity to be a star, in which she already is. We'll have her and much more from the Rain Training Center here in Lake Forest. You're watching Coach's Corner. Mission Basilica School is a Catholic parochial school with single-grade classrooms from pre-kindergarten through 8th grade. A blue ribbon school for academic excellence, located on the beautiful grounds of Mission San Juan Capistrano, Mission Basilica School. At Olson Orthodontics in San Juan Capistrano, they want to see you smile, and it starts from the first visit.
On my very first appointment, before I left, I knew exactly what I was getting, how much it was going to be. They were incredibly friendly, so it just made sense. It was completely at home here.
Dr. Olson does an excellent job of making his patients feel comfortable.
Well, I was just really enjoying coming here and seeing him. I loved to see Dr. Olson.
Call or visit Olson Orthodontics today.
Guys, this is a big part of our team, HereTV.com. Make sure you check out HereTV.com and download their application so you can listen to any TV that you want from any restaurant from your phone at your table.
Hello everybody, once again welcome back to Coach's Corner here at the Rain Training Center in Lake Forest, California, the home of Rachael Cummins, our MMA female fighter, joining us today on Coach's Corner. And also now joining us is her manager, Brianna Armstrong. And Brianna, you and I have been talking, but the first time I talked to you was email, and you were in Hawaii, and I thought I'd be cute and say mahalo and aloha and all that good stuff, and you came back with all kinds of Hawaiian stuff.
Yeah, I took it to the next level.
So do you live in Hawaii, or tell me about that?
I used to. My parents live on the Big Island in Kailua Kona. So,
okay, well, welcome to the mainland.
Thank you. It's good to be home.
So, Rachael, how did you guys hook up?
Well, she went to do a shoot for me here because she was interested in me, and I think I just had my first amateur fight, and she was really interested with the women's, and she wanted to take pictures of me and write an article and just put me as a piece in her magazine, in the Ultimate MMA magazine. And so when I met her, we got along really good, and we just hit it off from then, and we became friends first, and then I talked to her about managing me after, because I mean, she's so smart. She's just, it's ridiculous, and she really keeps me on my toes. And I mean, she knows how I work, she knows how my mind works, she knows how to keep me calm and what stresses me out and everything.
So we'll call this brains and brawn,
yes.
right?
That's what it
so
is.
You have affiliations with 17 different magazines, and
Yeah.
we're going to get in every single one of them, right?
Oh, gosh.
but tell me your thoughts about managing Rachael, and I'm sure it's turned into not just this thing you're doing, but a passion and a love.
No, absolutely. And when I first met Rachael, it was actually on the beach randomly one day, and I just she started talking to me about what she wanted to do and her career and her dreams, and how she was just really set on being an MMA fighter. This was right before her first amateur fight, and I just really admired that about her, just like the passion, and it was just so refreshing. And So, you know, I did this article with her for Ultimate MMA magazine, and ever since then we've been kind of connected at the hip. And you know, I made sure that I tried helping her during her like amateur career and got her hooked up with Tough Enough, and that was a huge stepping stone for her in her career. And it just sort of has become what it is. And I've always been able to give fighters publicity and, you know, fights, but this has kind of been like a new thing for both of us.
Right.
And it's been a huge learning experience.
Sure.
I've learned so much more about the industry than I ever knew before, and I used to be considered an expert at MMA, and I don't even agree with that now, because I see how much more, you know, I've developed as managing Rachael and just learning so much from her and working with her. So
let's peel this back a little bit and talk about your family. You know, I had your brother on my show years ago when he was at El Toro High School, and of course Trabuco Hills High School, and I had to do a click there for a second because he's 36 now. But anyway, your parents are fully in support. They're here. They're over my left shoulder with the iPad. You know. But that's got to be so exciting for you to have them here, your mom and dad. Tell me about that.
Well, my parents have been the biggest supporters of my entire life. They would never miss anything, no matter if it was basketball, volleyball, even me coaching my boys' volleyball team. They'll still go. So they've been my biggest supporters my whole life. And I mean, my mom used to get really nervous and be like, why do you want to do this? Can't you find something else to do at first? And she was really worried about it. My dad was like, yeah, let's go. And he even was in my corner in my amateur career. And like, he didn't even know anything about MMA. He was just going in there like, are you okay? Like, because he was my basketball coach my whole life. You know, and I didn't really have set coaches in the very beginning. So, you know, I was like, my dad could come corner me. He knows how to coach. And I mean, they just been so amazing. I mean, the best parents. You have
a lot of support, and I want to mention two supporters of yours, HereTV.com. It's a great app that you can get. Also, OC Fight Doc, who you told us about when you get injured or when you need to go and get checked out. That's where you go, and they keep you up and running, so to speak. Your thoughts about, and I know you didn't hear this yet, but we talked about what she might want to do after fighting stops. And you know, obviously she'd be a great commentator, or you may be somebody that creates some apparel for women or things like that. This sport being so young with the women, what are the options?
There's a lot of options, and especially for Rachael. I mean, if you can't tell already, Rachel's a very different fighter, and she brings something that's more than a star quality. She brings skill. And there's a lot of things she can do. I mean, she can go straight into film. We've talked about doing stunt work and, you know, doing action films, and she has it. She definitely has a lot of potential. So she can go, I think sky's the limit. Anywhere she wants to go, she can do it.
Obviously, we've seen a lot of shots today on our show that we're utilizing, and swimsuit shots. Now, I know that's pretty important to do that. It's a very physical sport, but also on the female side is a very feminine sport too, and how you guys present yourselves. Is that something you would do also? Would you go out and do the modeling aspect of it? Tell me about that.
Well, I used to do a lot of that when I was younger, and people have always tried to get me to do that, because, you know, I'm 5'9", I'm really tall, and I had that model, really skinny look till I, you know, got a little buffer. But, you know, I love it. I love being girly, and I love getting dressed up and doing my hair and makeup, and then I love punching people in the face. So I think, like, it's a good broad mix. I love it.
I think our executive producer, Robert Schick, is going to take that quote right there and put it on our site. That's the perfect one.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best. I mean, you can be cute and get all dolled up, and then you can still beat someone up.
Yeah. I know that we don't know. We got about a minute left in this segment, but we don't know her next opponent yet.
Right.
When will you know that, and do you play a factor in that role as her manager? Tell us about that.
Yes, I will be the one finding her her fight. And we're shooting for March. Okay. And Rachael, the goal is definitely Invicta or UFC. She has the potential. Right now she's just 2-1. This is just the beginning. And there's so much more that she has to show us. It's going to be a crazy year in 2014. Can't say much, but there's lots to look forward to.
Well, that's part of the sport. There's a little bit of discretion, a little bit of quietness to what you do. And I want to wish you both the best of luck. If you don't mind, prior to that fight, we would like to come out and do this again. Yes. And rock and roll with this again here at the Rain Training Center. I wish you the best of luck, and tell your brother I said hello. Okay. I know your parents are watching, and then it was finally nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to
You're
meet
a great
you.
manager, so you're a great team, and of course, Also, we want to thank Jason Manley for joining us, and also the Rain Training Center for having us as the host site for our on-location edition of Coach's Corner. We thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, thank you and have a great week.